The following is a presentation of the Belly Up Sports Media Network.
14:20 in the morning, 14 minutes and 20 seconds worth of sports talk to get you through your daily commute. Hot takes, recaps, best bets, and a little humor to get your day going in the right direction. Sit back, grab your coffee, and let's get into it. Anyways, 14:20 in the morning for this May the 1st, 2023. Today's show, as always, brought to you by Caldera Labs and calderalab.com. Use promo code 1420lab at calderalab.com and save yourself 20% on their men's all-natural skincare products and keep that youthful exuberance in your face all year long. As mentioned before, we are part of the Belly Up Media and Belly Up Network of shows. Thank you very much for Belly Up for having us a part of that fantastic group over there. Voice a little bit scratchy today. Had a big weekend. We'll get into that in a second there. We'll talk about what I got down to this weekend, but it was all good and a lot of fun. Anyways, the National Hockey League. Thanks for making this part of your morning, each and every morning, by the way, as we do this little venture that we got going on. National Hockey League playoffs first round it ends tonight. Another Game 7 on the books with the New York Rangers going to the Prudential Center down in New Jersey. See how that one's all going to pan out. Been a crazy series. I had that one done in 4 games after the Rangers won their first 2. The Devils had some different ideas. The Hughes kid, he's been unbelievable for the Devils so far in that series, but that one's going 7. I didn't suspect that about a week and a half ago, but that's kind of the way the Stanley Cup playoffs worked. You had 2 Game 7s last night. Fantastic drama in both games, the way it all turned out. There were great Game 7s that weren't blowouts at all. Whoever watched that Bruins game, especially, the Bruins gave up the late lead and lost in overtime to a Florida team that just seemed like they had the will to win. They were going, they were flying. They had everything going for them last night. That Tkachuk team, after they were down 3-1, and then Bobrovsky going in, that helped out a lot as well. Yeah, they made that goaltending change. I'm pretty sure that you have a $10 million guy on the bench. You got to kind of use them. It's one of those things. But you're happy that not happy. I guess the Bruins fans aren't happy. As a Leafs guy, I'm kind of happy the Bruins aren't going through. But Deanne, she's a big Leafs fan as well, and she said she wanted the Bruins the way the Leafs are rolling right now a little bit. I don't know. Be careful what you ask for. You just might get it. But you got to wonder where that Bruins team is going to be going from here on in, and how they're going to find a way to get that team righted after having a record-setting season, the way they had everything going for them, and the way they had a lot of success with 65 wins this season, and had a chance to do something in the playoffs, up 3-1, and just couldn't seal that deal for whatever reason. But now they find themselves in cap hell. We talked about that a while ago. They went out and signed Pasternak, that big deal. He didn't get the hometown discount that they were hoping that they would get with a lot of those guys that got, like Bergeron took a hometown deal. You had the guy with the big nose, Marchand. He took the hometown discount, but Pasternak said, no, I want to get mine. I only get one chance at a big contract. And now you have a Bruins team who, in general, they've had a lot of team success over the years, but what have they really done? They have the one Stanley Cup in 2011. That's a long time ago. And now you have Bergeron, who probably played his last hockey game last night in the National Hockey League. He had something wrong with his back. He wasn't able to go for most of the series, but I don't think that was a deciding factor in that series. They didn't get saves when they needed. I didn't understand changing goaltenders for Game 7, going to a guy who hasn't played for a while. I think they should have stuck with what got him there. You go with who took you to the prom, and you go home with who took you to the prom. And the Bruins didn't do that last night. I was quite shocked when Swayman was in the net. Not that Swayman played bad. I just don't think that they should have made that change at that time. And then the way the Bruins ended up losing that game late, gave up that goal with a minute left, I think it was, and then ended up having that overtime goal. Tkachuk causing the turnover. Tkachuk was a force all night long. Like I said, right now he's probably one of the most valuable players in the playoffs, right beside Leon Draisaitl of the Edmonton Oilers, who also advanced on Saturday night. We'll talk about those two teams in half a second as well. But you don't know where teams that make these big deals at the deadline to go out and reinforce things and look like they can win a Stanley Cup, and then they make these deals and mortgage the future. I guess you only get one chance to make a first impression. They went for it. And the same thing with the the Colorado Avalanche, last year's Stanley Cup champions. So that's guaranteed with their loss last night. We're going to have a new Stanley Cup champion again this year. It was kind of shocking the way the season went for the Colorado Avalanche. They had some injuries throughout the year. Makar was out with some concussion protocol. McKinnon didn't play. He was out 11, 12 games this year. And their captain, Gabriel Landeskog, he was out all season long. So you have those guys, and they brought in some other guys. They don't have a goaltender there is the biggest thing in Florida. So that was or Colorado. That's a really tough pill to swallow for a team that could have, you don't want to go, and I'm not saying it's early in the kid's career, but you only get so many years to win a championship, because winning is hard, as we discuss here on 1420 in the morning. It's almost one of the key themes throughout playoff time is how hard winning actually is, and you don't want to waste too many years of Cale Makar and Nathan McKinnon not winning championships and not getting to the finals, losing in the first round. For both those guys, got to be kicking the pills, not just for those players, but for the franchise and the fan base as well. So you don't want to end up wasting those years, because you only get so many, and then free agency comes up and numbers come up and salary cap implications, and you only get you're banking on guys to be good for the first half of their contracts, not so much in the back half of their contracts, because they go so quick, and all of a sudden year after year, you lose out in the first round, don't even give yourself a chance to win a championship, as the Leafs have been doing for how many years. But now they have a chance to actually do something with that core, and they have a chance to actually do something. But you go and mortgage your future. You don't know how much you can do. But I don't know. I'm a guy who brought you, but they didn't, and they tried to get something done, and they just didn't get it done. There's a lot of teams that didn't get it done, and it seems like here at 1420 World Headquarters, we're kind of soothsayers a little bit, because you look at all the elimination games that happened in the last couple of nights, Saturday and Sunday. I'm talking more so that all the elimination games were all road teams that won on the road and getting that done. And me and Dave talked about that a while ago, about having used to be home ice advantage was such a huge thing, especially in game sevens, where you want that game at home and you want to have success at home. You feel some familiarity around the rink a little bit, and you give yourself more of a chance. And home ice advantage used to be such a huge thing. But last night, the two road teams won in game 7, and then you had the two road teams winning game 6 with Edmonton and with the Toronto Maple Leafs. And the home ice advantage thing, and we kind of laughed about it. Maybe you don't want that home ice advantage, because you can't really relax, and you have everybody, you can't go for a cup of coffee. You can't go get the paper. You can't, not that these kids go get the paper, but you can't go to the grocery store for the wife if she wants you to go get some groceries. That it's kind of a tough thing to do. But when you're on the road, you can just relax, and nobody really knows who you are, especially in places like LA and like Florida or Tampa, I guess, that these guys can just go into obscurity a little bit throughout the arena, and nobody really knows who they are. So it's a really good thing for these guys to be on the road, and they can relax a little bit, and they don't have that pressure of the crowd going at you, because I think that the pressure goes a lot more on the home team in these situations. And the road team, they can just feed off the adrenaline a little bit and get themselves a chance to win a championship and win that game 7, and they can put the noise behind them a little bit, because they're not having people the tenseness of everything, because they weren't supposed to win those hockey games. I mean, everything you get to game 7, it's all house money pretty much, and you don't really you just go for it and you hope for the best. But you looked how loose Florida played even late in that game last night. They were playing with house money against a team that they weren't supposed to be against. Everybody was picking the Bruins to go far in the Stanley Cup Finals or in the playoffs. And if you remember, I said there was something about that team I didn't like, and they proved me right once again here at 1420 in the morning. So it's one of those things that you just kind of had a gut feeling about the Bruins not having that it factor. What that it factor is, nobody has the magical formula. I don't think Caldera Labs has that magical formula, but the Bruins didn't get it done. The Colorado Avalanche didn't get it done. It's amazing that the way that all turned out for those two hockey clubs. We kind of call it, they just talk about those things all the time, and you just wonder how those things can actually go about, and how you have these teams that are built to win right now, and more, like I said, mortgage the future. It can be really, really tough. You wonder how the playoffs are going to, how they're going to pan out after tonight. I usually take the home team in a game 7 situation that you have the Devils and the Rangers last night, but I'm going to go with the Rangers to win this hockey game tonight, 4-1, 4-2 kind of a deal, and wrap that series up, and then they'll have a tough one with Carolina in the second round. You just the home teams are having a real heck of a problem going right now with everything, and they just don't seem to be getting it done. You don't know where the goaltending situation is with a lot of these teams. They're changing goalies in and out. Usually you get a guy who's going hard and going well, and they just don't get it done for whatever reason. So they're changing goalies, which is odd. Usually a guy goes in for 16 games straight, but these teams are making these decisions and they're rolling with it. You can't get a save, you can't get a win. So it's one of those things you're going to see. Yeah, it's going to be really, really cool to see how it all goes. The one takeaway, I won't talk a whole bunch of Leafs hockey today because they have that game tomorrow. We'll preview that series a little bit, see how that one's going to go with the Florida Panthers. But you look at that Leafs series, were they a little too excited to win that first round? It looked like they already won the Stanley Cup with that round, and you don't know where that's going to end up. But to a man, the players, the fan base, you can see how the fan base will be excited because they haven't won a series since 2004, and like we've all talked about since '67, they haven't gotten anything done. But you wonder that the management staff with Dubas and Spezza up in the press box there when they got a little too excited for my liking. The players that were acting like they won the Stanley Cup in that first round. So you wonder how the emotion level is going to be for that second round. But now they have home ice advantage, which might not be a good thing because Florida's hot right now. Florida's rolling a little bit. The Leafs got to come out with a little bit of fire in their belly tomorrow night. We'll talk about that more in our show tomorrow morning here at 14:20 in the morning. It's interesting. Been a great playoff so far. Only the 3 Game 7s this year compared to 5 last year, but it's been a great playoff so far. A lot of games have been close. A lot of series have been close. That Oilers game last night came down to the wire. Stuart Skinner, he tried to give that one away in the third period on Saturday night with the broken stick or whatever it was to be. But that was a tough game for Skinner. He wasn't great. He's got to be a lot better against a Vegas team that's really, really good, and that team's poised to win a lot as well. So you wonder how that's all going to turn out with the goaltending in the second round. But we'll talk about the second round more tomorrow morning when all the first round matchups are all done. Anyways, who do we got today happy note on this day? Goes to, on this day in 1991, Rickey Henderson steals base number 939 of his career in an Oakland A's 7-4 win over the New York Yankees. Henderson stole third base to break Lou Brock's record of 938. Henderson finished his 25-year career with 1,406 stolen bases, 2,295 runs scored, with stops in Oakland, New York, the Yankees and the Mets, Toronto, San Diego, Boston, the Dodgers. Played in 10 All-Star games. Was inducted into the Baseball Hall of Fame in 2009. And for those you watching on YouTube this morning, today I am the greatest. And he took his the base out of the ground there and held it above his head with his Oakley sunglasses on and the like. There's nobody quite like Rickey Henderson. For those who listen to the show on a regular basis, you know that we're big Rickey fans here. As we'll get the Rick Award going as the baseball season progresses a little bit here at 14:20 in the morning. But that Yankee team's an absolute disaster. We've talked about that a little bit. We'll get into that maybe a little later on in the week. But it's NHL time right now. And who do we got for birthday today? Who do they line me up with? Happy 39th birthday to David Backus, born on this day back in 1984 in Minneapolis, Minnesota. Backus played 15 National Hockey League seasons with stops in St. Louis, Boston, and Anaheim. 248 goals, 313 assists for 561 points and 965 games played. Silver medal with that 2010 team in, I guess it was in Vancouver against the Canadian team that ended up winning that gold medal for those of our American fans who were not aware of what went on in the 2010 Olympics. Anyways, it's always fun to bug the Americans about that when they still think they're the center of the hockey universe. Every once in a while, a blind squirrel finds a nut and the Canadian team somehow pulls one out and gets a victory. But anyways, thank you very much for listening to the show. It's new month, new goals, lots going on. Make sure you guys go to Caldera Labs and SeatGeek and use our promo codes to get yourself some free stuff, and it helps promote the show. We're hoping to get our YouTube channel built up, so make sure you hit the subscribe button if you're watching this morning on YouTube Live. We appreciate all the support you guys give us. Anyways, I had spent the weekend with some friends. That's why I wasn't on the airwaves a whole bunch over the weekend. We went down to Whitefish, Montana, had a great time with some friends. The record for the team was 1-1-1. I don't think we were down there to play hockey a whole bunch more, and was just to hang out with the friends and have a few laughs and joke around and drink some beers and talk about how good we used to be and do the old Glory Days thing. But it was a fantastic weekend all around. A few sore bones today, but it's one of those things you get going, and you think you're still young at heart, and the legs want to go somewhere, but they can't. The heart wants to keep going, but it can't, and you try. But hockey was basically an afterthought once we got going on. So So thank you very much to everybody, for all the guys for having me. Scott Norland, John Creason, Bruce Koslinski, Ryan Rasmussen, Luke Davis, Mike Davis, Wes Stockton, Jason Widmer, Eric Hardy, TJ Larson, Lyndon Van Buren, Todd Ducharme, and all of the wives and everything who were helping cook and clean and everything else that we did all weekend long. Had a great time down there in Whitefish, Montana, our second time down there for that hockey tournament. So thanks guys for putting up with me and having and listening to me talk. So we know it's really good. Anyways, that's it for 14:20 in the morning for this day. We'll get back into it tomorrow again. Regular recording tonight with Dave. We're going to get into. We haven't talked for a week now, which is odd for us, but like I said, I was on vacation time to get away from this for a little bit, but it was a lot of fun, and we'll get. Me and Dave will start talking a little bit of hockey, a little bit of baseball, and we'll get our usual Monday night shenanigans. Like I said, make sure you guys subscribe to our YouTube channel, listen to our podcast, wherever it is you get your podcasts as well. Talk to people about the show. That's the biggest way to get this thing going. Let's have a banner month for the 1420 podcast, and maybe check out some old shows and do some fact checks and see how that all goes. But anyways, have a good day, folks. A lot of fun getting back in the air with you guys. The hockey's been great. Make sure you enjoy the Game 7 tonight. And most importantly, always remember, it doesn't matter where you are. It's who you're with. Have a good day, folks, and we'll talk to you tomorrow.
You just listened to the 1420 Sports Bar Podcast. 4 beer with the sports talk and a whole lot more. We are part of the Belly Up Media Network. Let's get into it.